All right, we have joining us a lawyer, public affairs analyst, Olayinka Ola Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Nice to have you join us.
Good morning.
All right, now, before we even get to the nitty-gritty of the issue, let's start from the question Nigerians are asking. A lot of lawyers came up over the weekend making comments and dissecting the issue as to whether the National Assembly has the powers to summon the president in our presidential system of government that we run. Does the National Assembly have the powers to summon the president, really?
Well, don't forget that it's a democracy, and somebody must check somebody. There must be check and balances. See, when you don't have room for such, and we don't have such a system where the National Assembly can summon Mr. President, then who caution Mr. President when Mr. President is about to goof? See, it's clear, they have power to do so. When we say they have power to do so, maybe we'll consider the principle of necessity in looking at that. Because if we say, oh, fine, they can summon Mr. President, whatnot, then what happened if Section 143, they, about to invoke, probably come to an existence and they're able to invoke that and all the processes were followed. So what happened in the end? Do we have to wait till that time before we salvage the situation? There's a situation at hand.
Okay, what does that Section 143 say?
Section 143, in summary, basically talks about the procedure to follow in impeaching Mr. President or Vice President of a nation. The procedures are clearly stated in Section 143 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
But that is in the case of an impeachment.
Yes.
The real question here is, does the National Assembly have the powers, as recommended by the Constitution of the Federal Republic, to summon, emphasis on that word, summon the president?
There's no
who is the head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
There's no specific section in the 1999 Constitution that I'm aware of that give any power to the National Assembly the word to summon the president for questioning. There is no such specific session that give provisions for that. So if Mr. President decides not to honor it, nothing will happen. And they cannot come, they can't invoke Section 143 on him based on his refusal to honor the summon. You don't summon...
But can he use his discretion to send maybe a representative, maybe a minister of defense, for example,
is Mr. President, is the chairman and the CEO of Nigeria.
I think that has even happened before under President Olusegun Obasanjo. It's happened before where he was summoned. But in this case, the National Assembly are saying he has to be. There's a specific request that he has to be the one to come in person.
If Mr. President chooses to go in person, fine. Nothing will...
It's to his discretion.
It's to his discretion. Okay. And if he decides not to honor, it's his discretion. There's nowhere stated in the Constitution that, hey, you must appear because we summon you. No.
Well, Femi Adesina, the president's spokesman, said, well, this is democracy in action. I mean, and there will be official correspondence from the presidency to that effect very soon. But what we've not heard anything yet in response from the presidency. What kind of response really, ideally, should the president be giving to this summons?
It's simple. If there's a summon, there's no... Mr. President, he is, like we said, is at his discretion to issue a letter to say, okay, I'm available or I'm not available, or I will send my representative. They've only asked, explain to us. That can be done, though a letter was sent to the House, to the National Assembly, from the presidency stating reason why some procedures were not followed before the purchase of the arms, the arms and all that. So those are the things, part of the things it was being summoned to come and to answer. But a letter has been sent, but they are not satisfied. They are not satisfied with the content of the letter. So they insisted that Mr. President can decide to probably send his AG or send his representative. The Vice President is there to appear on his behalf, or any of them can be available to. So, like I said, it's his discretion. If he chooses to go, if he chooses not to, we can't say precisely what the reaction or what the content of the letter or whatever Mr. President will do at this rate. That's the reason why even Mr. Additional can't say anything, because they still have to look at it, deliberate on it. Okay, what do we do about it? Like we say, it's democracy. It's either you honor, you don't honor. Either of the two. All
right. Now, the National Assembly is, if two major issues that are summoning the president to come and explain. The issue of the killings in across the country, and then the issue of the military. But we know that the National Assembly, either the Senate or the House of Rep, they all have committees that oversee the aspect that carries out this. Wouldn't it have been more expeditious to call to order the committee to look into where they are overseeing, to get information for the House or for the National Assembly?
Well, it's sad because if you look at it very well, you find out that most of pertinent issues, to be looked into by the National Assembly, probably somehow being waved away or unnecessarily given attentions and time have been wasted. Like you have said, there are committees to look into some of these things. What is the job of the committee? I didn't mean, is there any committee set up to look into it and the committee getting back to, they have their procedures and that they've been doing before now. There's nothing stops the National Assembly to set, to call the committee to look into that. We have the Chief of Staffs, the service chiefs. We have, when it comes to security, we have some other people that you can call on to, okay, what has happened? You see, everything.
Even the Minister of Defense is there.
Everything, thank you, is there. Even the interior ministers that I've not really heard anything from for a long time.
But I mean, there was no show from him.
Well, they said he has to still come because he sent his DIG thereabouts, and they said, no, yeah, fine. Those people can be questions. Those people can come to answer some of this. You see, everything don't have to drop on Mr. President's table. Yeah, in as much as we all know that he's the CEO and he's the, he's the president. But then, that reason why we have ministers are clearly stated. Reason why we have some of these chiefs are clearly stated. Mr. President wouldn't do all those things. Reason why they also can use their discretion to call those people and ask necessary questions to know what they need to know. It's not, Mr. President is a busy man.
But these issues, the issue of $496 million withdrawal from the excess crude account, number one, the security challenge all across the country, the killings, the wanton killings, unnecessary killings every day, and other issues on the table of the both the legislature and, of course, the executive. Are these strong enough, really, for this summons, or to be taken really, really seriously? I mean, take, for example, the president went to Bauchi, killings in Benue and all of that. They've been going on. And he's out of the country now. He's gone to the U.S. to have that crucial meeting with President Donald Trump. Are these issues strong enough to warrant this summons?
That's a rhetorical question, if they are strong enough. We all know what issue can be stronger than the lives of Nigerians being wasted at wheels, and nobody is saying anything about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. What can be more important than that? What can be more important than wasting the taxpayers' money without following due process? Sorry if I use the word wasting it, because, Mr. President may have, well, good purposes, noble purposes for that. Yeah, we know we need it. Yeah, there are good intents, but due process must be followed. We are talking about democracy. We are talking about the rule of law. We are talking about due process. All these things, if we don't have it, what is more important than that? What that may lead to is sheer anarchy. If one person, one Nigerian life is wasted, it bestowed on Mr. President to address the issue and tell us what happened and what should be done to stop it. People, you see, we have to just be very, very careful. And what I see, the body language I see from Mr. President is not really taking this thing serious. As far as I am concerned, my personal opinion is not taking this thing serious. Now, what do we have? Some religious organizations, I mean Christians, are coming out now to say enough of this. Do we have to get to this point? If Mr. President is doing what is required of him, is doing the needful, do we have to get to this point? And this is just the beginning. We don't know where this is going. We don't need it. So for us to ask that question, it is paramount, it is important that Mr. President answer the questions Nigeria are asking.
Yeah, taking it further now, the National Assembly, House of Reps precisely have said that even in the Senate, have said that the president not following due process in the release of the monies from the excess crude account for the Tucano flight is an impeachable offense. Now, it got the National Assembly rowdy here and there, but really, this the process has been violated. But is that enough to also say that the president
should be impeached?
Well, I'll break it into two. One, Section 80 and Section 81 of the 99 Constitution as amended clearly made it clear to us if some money needs to be spent, some money needs to be taken, whether from the consolidated account, whether from any government, or any money from Nigeria being taken, there are procedures, there are processes to follow. Now, if those processes are not followed, then Section 143 that talked about the procedure of it can be invoked to assist the what has happened, the violation of Section 80 and Section 81. Now, if that is the law, the action of Mr. President, nothing but violation of those sections, then Section 143 will come in. Meaning that what Mr. President, his action will definitely automatically invoke Section 143. Having said that, too, that has happened. We know it's in good faith. Though the excuse given by Mr. President that I know that when I send the letter, the National Assembly will approve it. That's the reason why I send it. As far as I am concerned, that's not an excuse. That should not even be said by anybody. Now, unfortunately, that was said. Let's leave it out of this discussion. So, like I said, too, yeah, for necessity, this has been done. The purchase has been made. We confirm, yes, purchase was made of the jet and all that. We have them. I think what should happen is for the executive and the National Assembly to then come together to harmonize and say, okay, if this has happened, yes, democracy will grow. Yes, we want to grow our democracy, and we don't have to throw the knife and the arrow and the guns at this point.
Is the seeming no love lost between the executive and the legislature? Is that what is playing out here? That seems to be affecting the process or processes of governance.
You can't rule it out. You can't rule it out because we are saying that. We are saying some of those things, you know. Everybody, ego, power, the executive want to do this. The National Assembly want to show that, yes, we are. But then, to come back to it, if due process have been followed and some other party is coming with an ego, you present your black and white paper and said, I did the right thing. So where have I goofed? But if you then goofed, then you then talked about ego, then I think we need to look at the check and balances. Both sides need to really work together for a nation to move forward. All right.
Olayinka Daniels, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. A lawyer said if you have weak laws, you will have weak interpretations.
Of course.
Maybe that's what's playing out.